All right, here with Dylan Moses. We'll open it up. First question to Charlie Potter.
Hey Dylan, Coach Saban said that you're playing better and better as the season has gone on. Just for you personally, how much more comfortable are you now from the start of the season?
I'm a lot more comfortable. I had to adjust, pretty much after not playing for a year and a half. I really had to get my feet wet again and, playing college football. So I feel like this point in the season, I'm pretty comfortable.
Tony Sakalis with the next question.
Hey Dylan, can you talk to me about your relationship with Tyler Harris and the kind of the leadership and brotherhood he passed on to you, and then how did you pass that on down again to his brother Christian?
Tyler Harris, I've been knowing him about the same amount of time I've been knowing Christian. He was always, older, kind of like the big brother of the group. No, but I've learned a lot from him, as far as, from him being in high school, being grades above us, and him going to Wake Forest and then playing for the Seahawks. He has a lot of knowledge, and he's taught me and Christian a lot. He gave us a lot of advice.
Over to Edwin Stanton.
Hey, Dylan, can you talk a little bit about the defense as far as finding an identity? A couple little mishaps, especially in the passing game earlier this season. I feel like y'all have gotten yourselves together and formed an identity so far.
Oh, yeah. I feel like every single game, we're building on that. We're not trying to be complacent, but the main goal is to play for 60 minutes and play one play at a time. That's the main thing, and I feel like that's the difference between our defense now and, in the beginning of the season.
Michael Casagrande with the next question.
Hey, Dylan, I remember a year ago for the LSU game, you came out, you were in full gear on the sideline, even though you weren't obviously going to play. Well, what did that mean to you, and what was that moment like for you to be on the sideline?
It just meant like, I really wanted to be out there with my teammates, and, I wanted to give them, just an extra push, extra motivation, one of their leaders aren't out there, but, he's willing to, come out there and dress up, and give, the support that they needed, in that particular time frame. But it definitely meant a lot for me.
Over to Mike Rodak.
Yeah, Dylan, during the last game, it was mentioned on TV that coaches wanted you to let it loose some more and maybe not worry about the other guys around you and if they were doing their jobs. Just what's been that balance for you in terms of being the field general and also trying to do your own job on the field?
It was a lot, actually. From the beginning all the way up to now, I feel like I had to find my identity again, as well as, lead the younger guys and then try and, be the signal caller. So I felt like I had a lot on my plate at the beginning of the season, and I had to really, level things out and balance things out. And I've met with Coach Saban on multiple occasions, just to help me out, and it's really helped me out, a lot, and I feel like like he said, I've been playing better throughout the games this year.
Christopher Walsh, go ahead.
Two things, please. Dylan, one, what does Patrick Surtain mean to this defense as it's been kind of growing and developing? And second of all, what does this game mean to the Louisiana guys who are going to be going back and playing at home?
Pat is definitely a key piece in our defense. He's a leader, and all the other guys, as well as myself, we look to him to make plays. Just we look for everyone else on our defense to make plays. But ultimately, it's just all of us. We have to do our jobs, and it's not necessarily like a single individual in our defense who, you have to look out for. It's pretty much everyone. We all just have to do our jobs. And as far as the Louisiana guys, we just looking at this as another game. We're not trying to put too much, into it. I'm a senior now. I've played in this game a couple times, so I'm just looking at it as a regular game.
Back over to Tony Sakalis.
Yeah, Dylan, there was a lot said after this game. There was a lot of clips that came out from LSU and how they reacted. Did that provide any motivation to the team moving forward in this game?
We're not worried about that at all. Like I said, we're just trying to play one game at a time, and just get better each and every week.
And over to Michael Casagrande.
So how hard was it for you to sit there and be on the sideline last year and watch that game, as high scoring as it was and how hyped and everything as it was, to not be able to play that game?
It wasn't just that game. It was every game, man. Like, missing the entire season, that was a lot for me. I never missed a game, throughout my entire football career ever since, I was a little kid. So the entire season last year was hard for me.
There are no other questions, so that wraps it up for today's press conference.
Cool.
Thank you again, everyone. Tony Sakalas, you're up.
How do you go about preparing for a team when you don't necessarily know like who's all going to be available for LSU? How are you guys going about just preparing, game planning for that?
We just preparing regular like we have in the game, not noticing, what's going on across their program. We just focusing on the game and preparing like we're gonna have a game.
Charlie Potter with the next question.
Hey, Pat, just want to ask you about Dylan Moses and just how important he is to this defense and just the play that he's had over the last few weeks. How big has that been for the defense?
Dylan Moses, he's an alpha leader. He's an alpha dog on the defense. And, he's the vocal piece of the defense that we all need. And, he helps get the guys around. And, whenever things might go wrong, he's that dude that helps get everybody up. So, he's that alpha leader that we need on the defense.
Over to Edwin Stanton.
Hey, Patrick, talk about this defense in terms of maturation from week one to now. What have you seen to be the biggest improvement from week one to now?
We always challenge ourselves on, finishing the plays, communicating out there, flying around to the ball. Because when you fly around to the ball, more plays happen. And, we always wanted to be that defense where, the standard of the defense here has always been, dominance. And we want to complete, dominance around the whole defensive unit.
Michael Casagrande, you're up.
Yeah, Patrick, what's the competition like when you're playing a team like LSU? We always hear about how it's the most physical game of the season. What's it like actually on the field during games like that?
There's NFL talent across the board. So, you got to prepare right and understand that, there might be guys out there that's just as talented as you. And, you just got to prepare and, you just got to play every down like it's your best play.
Over to Tony Sakalas.
How much improvement have you seen from Christian Harris just from year one to year two after making that move to linebacker?
Christian, he gained a ton amount of confidence through the course of the season. Last year he was a freshman. He was a bit antsy sometimes, but, as the season went on, he got confident. But now this season, he's even more confident and, he's more physical, flying around to the ball. And, he's a great player.
James Ogletree up next.
Yeah, I don't know how much you study Derek Stingley or how much film you get to watch of him, but just from a cornerback perspective, what's your assessment of his game and what makes him such a good player?
He's a playmaker. He's a great player, and he's a guy that bees around the ball, all the time.
AP Stedham, over to you.
Hey, Patrick. Patrick, I was wondering if you reflect on the game where the team surrendered 48 points and then you shut out a Mississippi State with 0. What are 2 or 3 things that your defense did differently? I mean, I know they're different teams, but what did you see from your defense and, specifically the secondary?
I believe it went on through the course of the week, practice, because what you do in practice, it, creates better habits in the game. And, what we did in practice, it helped us, produce that donut against Mississippi State. And on Miss, our practice wasn't as great, but, it showed in the game. And we had a lot of miscommunication errors as well that we fixed in Mississippi State.
These will be the final few. Stephen Smith, you're up.
Hey, Pat, as difficult as it is not having Trey Sanders out there, what has impressed you about the freshmen, Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams so far?
They competitors, they ready to get out there. They answer to play. You see it every day in practice. They compete every day and they run the ball hard.
And we'll finish up with Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, just how much does last year's result against LSU, how much does that weigh on you guys as a team as you enter this game?
It gives us motivation. We know what this game means, but we also look at it as another game. We don't try to hype the game up that much, but we just trying to, go out there, compete, go through our routine, just finish the game out.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your afternoon.
Forward to to Coach Saban. I know he talked about the team has a lot of confidence in the two freshmen in McClellan and Roydell Williams. What have you seen from those two in practice when they've gotten reps?
Those two dudes have impressed me personally since fall camp because of the way that they came in and just went to work hard. They took after Najee and B-Rob, two seniors on the team, and they've been working really, really hard, just like everybody else.
Over to Michael Casagrande.
Alex, people talk about this game, Alabama LSU, as being the most physical game, one of the more physical games. What does that mean to you, and how does that manifest in the game for 60 minutes on Saturday night?
It means a lot to me because it's a big part of the reason why I came to the University of Alabama for the games like that. And yeah, I'm just excited to play. I'm excited to play.
Next question to Tony Sakalas.
Yeah, Alex, you mentioned how big this game is for you. There's been some talk that it might not happen due to COVID. How do you deal with that distraction? And how much are you looking forward to this game? And then, how much do you want it to happen?
We try not to pay attention to things like that. We try to prepare in the same way as we would for any other game. You know what I mean? And we all look forward to this game just like any other game. We're looking to go out there and dominate for 60 minutes, no matter who we play.
Charlie Potter, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, just asking about you. How would you assess the way that you played through 6 games this season?
I feel like I've gotten progressively better as the season is going on, and that's what I intend to keep on doing.
Back over to Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, how much does the result from last year's game with LSU, how much does that weigh with you guys entering this week?
I know it's a motivation factor for a lot of guys on the team, not because of just the outcome, but just because it's a rivalry game. And just like y'all said earlier, it's a very physical game, and those are the games that we look forward to, and we're happy to get the opportunity to play them again.
Charlie Potter, back to you.
I know that the record doesn't necessarily reflect it, but what have you seen from LSU's defense, and how different are they from last year, if at all?
LSU, not just their defense, but as a team as a whole, they've always had extremely talented players, extremely good players, no matter what the record says or how they've done this season, but they have extremely talented players and just a lot of good players on their team, offense and defense.
Brett Hudson, you're up.
With Najee taking the workload that he is as a ball carrier, I mean, how much does that impress y'all as offensive linemen to see him take as many carries as he is?
We love it, honestly, because what our mindset is, this offense doesn't work unless we work. So we're glad and we're happy to get the opportunity to let him be the player that he is and put it on us so he can perform at the level that he is.
And we'll finish up with Stephen Smith.
Alex, how have you seen Dylan Moses? I know defensively at linebacker, but how have you seen him become more comfortable as the season has progressed, coming back from that injury he had?
It's definitely been very good to see him get his mojo back. It's been a working process week in and week out, and he's been getting better every week. He's just getting back on his feet, getting more confident and more comfortable as the weeks go on, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Thank you, Alex. We'll be bringing up the next player shortly.
Thank you.